Good morning, beautiful kings and queens. I hope that you guys are having a beautiful and a blessed day. So we know that our God, our Father, is a creator. The world, if you look at it in all its beauty and all its splendor, you have to know that there was a creator. These things did not happen by accident. You can see just within nature itself that it was meticulously planned out. It was meticulously orchestrated. When you look at flowers, when you look at the wind, when you look at just every aspect of nature, you can see the fingerprints of God all around it. A lot of it is mathematical, a lot of it is symmetrical, all of it is symmetrical. If you dissect it, you will actually see the fingerprint of God. You will see how the Lord meticulously made the elements. You will see how he meticulously made the plants, how he meticulously made the animals. Even human beings are made so beautifully. The body itself, it actually heals itself. That took thought, that took creativity, that took the actual hand of God to create. And as God's children, we are natural creators. For some of us who operate higher on the creativity scale, it could be a little bit difficult to navigate your creativity. It could be a little bit difficult to feel comfortable with your creativity. A lot of us have been boxed. You grew up around people that didn't quite see things or see the world as you saw the world. Or you could look at a thing and see something completely different in that thing. So it is very different. It is very different for a child of God who has a spirit of creativity. You have to realize that you cannot be boxed. A lot of people will put parameters around you and say, whoa, 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 you can only go this far. Whoa, 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 that's a little bit too outside of the box. But as his children, we are meant to be trendsetters. We are meant to be trailblazers. That's why God gave you the spirit of creativity. So if you are a highly creative person, you have to make sure you are not running from that, or that you are not trying to conform to everyone else's standards of what it is that you're doing, because the world needs highly creative people. The world needs creators, not just content creators. The world needs creators. If you look back at ancient Egypt, what are we still studying today? We're still studying their art. We are still studying the colors, the pigmentation of how they mix their paints. That's what is lasting. For me, being a person of Caribbean origin, I was born in Jamaica. Being a person of Caribbean origin, we are naturally creative people. But a lot of the times when our children show that they are creative, the parents will push them away from their creativity and tell them to go and read a book. But a lot of the times, these children, they'll exhibit those creative tendencies from early on, but they kind of beat that out of you. So it's important too to watch your children, to make sure that you are nurturing and fostering your children's creativity. Everybody does not see the same. Everyone does not think the same. Everyone does not operate the same. So if you notice that your child likes to draw, you notice that your child likes to paint, you notice that your child maybe like to do hair, like to do nails, like to do anything creative, they like to build stuff, foster that, because it is God that gives the workman his skill. So if the Lord is pouring into your child, or if the Lord is pouring into you or into anyone that you know, you have to make sure that you are fostering that, because our Father himself, he is a creator. Our Father himself, he formed and fashioned the world. So as his children, we are going to be naturally creative. I remember I was always in trouble. I would take things apart. I would try to make something out of something else. So my parents, or those that were around me, they didn't know any better. They would say, oh, you got to focus. You have to focus. But some people, their focus is different. For some people that are creative and are artistic, they need a different outlet. So within the school system, they're training all of our children to think the same, to be the same, and then you're judging them off of the same standards, when indeed everyone does not think the same, everyone does not perceive the same, everyone does not understand the same. So how can you judge each and every individual who God has made differently? You cannot judge them by the same standards. You cannot judge them by the same scale, because everyone is perceiving the world in a different light. So for creative people, that can be a little bit tough, because you can look at something and you see an end result, or you see a completely different picture than someone that may not have that amount of creativity. They look at a box and they just see a box. You look at a box and you see, okay, I can cut that up, I could do this, I could do that. So sometimes when you are creative, people might think you're a little bit crazy. That's the thing. The great geniuses of our time and times before, they were often creative people. They were often people who the world did not understand. They tend to go the opposite way. They tend to go the opposite way of the crowd. So those are often trendsetters. Those are often the ones that are the trailblazers. So if you have that spirit of creativity, you can't follow the crowd. You cannot go the way that the crowd is going. You cannot go in the way that the rest of the world is going, because naturally it does not suit you. Naturally it does not even appease to you. You don't even care to go that way. So the people that are a little bit quirky sometimes, the people that are a little bit weird sometimes, those are actually the trailblazers. Those are actually the trendsetters, because you're operating from a higher state of creativity. A lot of times you are operating too from a higher state of consciousness. So you cannot follow the world's standards as it comes to the things that you would like to do, or your visions, the things that you are seeing. You see things completely different, and that's okay. The Lord has made you that way. He has designed you that way naturally to express him, because God is a creator. God is a creator. In the Bible, it says that he's the one that gave the wisdom, the knowledge to the workmen, to the blacksmith, to those that blew the coals, to those that formed jewelry. He's the one that gives that knowledge. So if you are a creative person, you're operating from a different plane of existence. And a lot of people, they can't understand that. So you will be labeled as a little bit kooky. You will be labeled as a little bit weird. You'll be labeled as a little bit crazy, but that is absolutely okay. All the greats of times past, they were a little bit crazy, they were a little bit off. That's only because you see things from a different light. Nikola Tesla, people thought he was mad. If you look at these people too, they're often alone. They're often lone wolves, because you thrive off of that solitude. You thrive off of that being alone. That's how you get connectivity to God. For me, when I don't have anything to do, I go and sit by myself. I sit by myself. Why? Because that's how I get my instruction. That's how I get my next. So if you are creative, you have to pay attention to those things. You have to realize, hey, I'm not seeing the world the way other people see it. I don't perceive life the same way other people perceive that. And it is definitely okay. It's okay. It's okay. You have to learn to flow in your creativity. You have to learn to flow in your in the essence of who God created you to be. There is no one like you. There will never be anyone like you, and that is okay. You don't have to go by the world's standards of what they think you should and should not be. And this time God is raising up those people. He's raising up those people. You're going to see a lot of people within the next maybe year or so. They're just going to pop out of nowhere. They're going to come out of nowhere with different creative ideas, different creative things, because God himself is a creator. So he's raising up creators. He's raising up people to form and fashion. If your child is a person that does not like school or does not like the system, you cannot beat that into them. If they are natural creators, let them be themselves, because there's always this spirit in them that is pushing them to do something else, to pushing them to be different. So you cannot beat the system into them. That's what happened to me. My parents, I was always in honors, always in gifted classes and everything. But I just wanted something more. I just saw like the system was not for me, so I opted to do things a little bit different. But coming from the Caribbean, coming to America, they have a mindset of what your life should be. They either want you in nursing, they want you in something medical, something that makes it feel like, oh, you've made it. Like, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer, you got to be something else. But for those that are creative, we don't see it like that. Success is not what you do. Success is being happy in what you are doing. It's not the paper, it's not the degree, it's not the bachelor's, the master's. It's not that. For some people that are operating in a creative spirit, you just want to be happy in what you're doing. You just want to be free. Freedom for someone that is creative. That's the ultimate goal, is freedom. You want to be free to express yourself. You want to be free to just be yourself. You don't want to be boxed. And that's the thing with creative people. You cannot box them. You can't put them in a box. One week they may be somebody else. The next week they're going to be somebody else. So it's a little bit different. So yeah. So I'm just encouraging you guys to remain creative, remain who God has called you to be. Love you guys. Have a blessed day.